Hi, and welcome to the Dingers podcast. This is episode 30.
Oh, great. Now Mitch's internet's screwing up.
Oh, we can't hit it quite right, can we?
This will be fun.
Give it just a minute. See if he pops back.
You think he's sweating yet?
Oh, yeah. It seems it's like we can't quite get it right.
Right.
Oh.
So, Max, where are you at right now?
I am in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Moved out here end of December.
Where did you move from?
I was in Seattle for a month training over at Driveline, and they had some stuff going on with the state COVID protocols. They had some stuff going on with state COVID protocols to where they ended up thinking that they were going to shut down on Christmas Eve. So I kind of started getting things lined up out here with Luke, and everything just kind of came together pretty quick. So.
Oh, okay. Nice. So I'm just going to ask, even though it might be jumping ahead, but where do you think you're going to land, like, after spring training? Like, single, double A?
I think that's a fair question. I wish I had a better answer. I think a lot of it's going to be role dependent, but ultimately I trust the organization to kind of put me where they see best fit.
Gotcha. No, I mean,
besides the big league club, like, where do you see? Do you see like double A, triple A? Obviously, hoping for right at the top.
Right.
Kind of, what are you thinking?
Well, I don't really have any pro experience under my belt. I kind of have a unique story. So honestly, heading into this, I'm don't really have many expectations. I'd love to sit here and tell you that I'm going to expect to be on the AAA team, but I don't know that that's necessarily fair, of me to expect out of myself or, for anyone to expect for that matter. So, kind of going into it with no expectation, just going to go pitch my butt off and compete and kind of see what happens.
Right.
That's awesome.
Nice. How long have you been playing baseball?
I started when I was about 7 years old. So, yeah, you're 16, man.
Wow. So did you live and grow up somewhere where they had baseball all year round, like fall ball and summer ball?
No, I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, about 40 miles north of there. So we kind of maximized the summer ball seasons. We had a little bit of a fall schedule, but it was typically limited to like 8 Sundays where you play 8 games. So you kind of maximize the training within like facilities and whatnot during the winter months, and then play 40 to 50 games during the summer.
Nice. Yeah, that is a big schedule. Nice. 40 to 50 games in the summer. Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us about your path to the Cubs. We've kind of been following along. We know you have a really cool story.
Thank you.
But kind of give us your viewpoint.
There's a lot to it. Obviously, I went undrafted I went undrafted after the 2019 spring season. There was a lot that went into that too. I was a little bit overweight. I didn't have the best off-speed stuff. I didn't have the velocity I needed to play at this level. So there was a lot to attack. There was a lot that I needed to control better in order to really be able to say that I deserved an affiliate opportunity, or that I felt that I had earned one. So played independent ball in the summer of 2019 out in Utica, Michigan, for the Utica Unicorns. Same team. If you guys know Randy Dobnik, that's playing for the Twins, he's like the one guy out of that league to make the big leagues. Same team. And after that summer, I throughout the summer, I had a teammate in Ty Hensley, who was a former first-round pick of the Yankees back in 2012. So I kind of got the opportunity to learn from him and kind of see just how cutthroat the professional baseball world was, albeit a minimal exposure. So going into that winter was the first time that I really got to control things the way I wanted to. And I started lifting through through Eric Cressy down in Florida, but that's why I started my relationship with my current strength trainer, Frank Minamino, who's working out up in Seattle now at Driveline. And then I kind of started. It was my real introduction to all the driveline based throwing protocols, and I just kind of took it and ran with it. So I'm doing this stuff in the morning, and I was teaching it at night too with prime time velocity. And I think, I've talked about it a little bit in the past, but I think having that opportunity to teach it at night kind of showed me what was going to work and what didn't. And it was kind of like an expedited trial and error process.
Nice.
Well, I'm back now. You want to know why I got kicked off the internet?
What happened, Mitch?
So my cat hit our router off the table upstairs. So my daughter's gone right now, and it's her cat. She's at grandma's house, so she might come back to no cat.
No cat.
and Mitch loves this cat, folks.
No,
I mean, he loves it.
No, not at all. So, yeah. So what motivated you to keep on pursuing to get to the major leagues? I mean, you went to D2 school, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So I'm a D2 baseball player too. Played at Upper Iowa University. I think. Where did you go?
Northwood University. What? Can I ask what years you played at Upper Iowa?
2003 through 2006.
Okay, we had a graduate assistant at Northwood that played at Upper Iowa as well, so I was curious, but
yep,
probably doesn't line up.
Our teams played each other one time. I looked it up.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
And you guys smoked us in like 2014. So
sorry about it.
Yep, it happens. But what motivated you to keep on pursuing even after not being drafted?
I think it was just that I knew I hadn't put everything into this that I could yet. And in order to be okay with my career and what had happened, I wanted to exhaust all effort. Like when we talk about exhausting all effort, I mean, put 115% into this before I call it quits. And, seeing as now I've kind of reshaped my entire career, it was worth it.
So I know you're with X2 and Driveline, correct?
Yes. Yep.
How much of your throwing program right now is directed by the Cubs, or is it more with X2 and Driveline? Like how is that balance?
So I'm kind of to the point where I have a really good idea behind the throwing program and programming out like actual throwing days. But I prefer it, like the way I'd like to phrase it is say that I collaborate with the Cubs on the throwing program. I wouldn't say it's a dictatorship by them. Not at all. Like they give me their ideas. I kind of give them mine. And then we kind of arrive at something together. So yeah, it's a collaboration between me and the Cubs.
What's like a typical workout day for you? Like, how many pitches are you throwing, and then like, what's your next day like?
Yeah. So we'll take Saturday for example. Saturday was a bullpen day. Went in through about 30 pitches, all on like Rapsodo and slow-mo cameras, all that fun stuff. Kind of looking at pitch to pitch data, evaluating what we see, what can we change, all that fun stuff. So I do that, and then I'll kind of going based on how I feel. The way I'm training with Frank right now, who I talked about before Mitch came back. He's given me 6 lifts for like a preseason phase for the weight room, and I kind of get to pick which one I want to do based on how I feel that day. So Saturday I felt pretty fresh after, actually, like, which isn't supposed to happen, but like I threw a pretty good bullpen, still felt pretty good. So I went and hit an upper day in the weight room after that. Following day I come in, try to get 9 to 10 hours of sleep that night just to recover properly. Come in. It's basically it's called a recovery day of throwing. And that's, for most people, that term would probably not suit what a recovery day actually looks like to them, or what they would think a recovery day looks like. But that's a full plyo routine, 30 to 40 throws of catch play. And there's a post throwing program as well. And I actually like to lift. I like to lift after I throw and the day after. So like Sunday, I guess that's yesterday now. Yesterday I hit a lower day in the weight room.
So we see the Rapsodo machine, and we think of all the new technologies that are coming in. What do you think is the next technology to hit baseball to be able to help you guys as players, whether it's in game or whether it's in the off season, learning more about your pitches and learning even when it comes to hitting too? Like, what do you think's the next thing?
Yeah. So actually, funny enough, I was having a conversation about this with my buddy today, and I think the hot button topic right now in like the pitch design world is seam shifted wake and like pitches that are affected by or like non-Magnus effect on pitches. So I think if there's a technology that becomes affordable, that can quantify, that can truly quantify what a pitch is doing based on quantify seam shifted wake, quantify something that technologies just simply can't right now. I think that's probably going to be the next step.
So you're kind of leading into my next question. Like, so everybody's fascinated, especially right now in Major League Baseball, with velocity. And it's fun. It's fun to watch guys just throw gas in. Yeah. And your guy, like your velocity's increased a ton.
Yep.
How important is it for you for like pitch tunneling and pitch design? And like explain that a little bit for our listeners who might not know what that means and what that kind of goes into for you as a pitcher.
Yeah, I think the pitch design process is extremely important because you see all these guys throwing hard now, right? Throwing hard is relative. So to sit here and say that 97 to 99 is hard may not be like really the case anymore. Like the average keeps creeping closer to it. So how hard is it really if it's just becoming closer and closer to the mean? So I think the pitch design process is extremely important for that reason, because we're kind of pushing the human limits with how hard we can throw. I truly believe that. But it's going to be the guys with quality stuff that's going to separate you at the next level. Okay. You got quality stuff. You got the execution of the quality stuff. Like there's going to be a number of important factors beyond just how hard you can throw that are going to separate you from the guy around you. So I think pitch tunneling is extremely important too, but I think that's like a ways down. That's almost like a ways down the road. If you're looking at where I started back when I was like 88, 90, 92, to now, like I wouldn't have even considered pitch tunneling that winter. I was just trying to throw quality stuff on the Rapsodo before I even go back to try to tunnel it, because it could be something where you're throwing a curveball and it's extremely efficient. Like Clayton Kershaw's is a good example. It's so loopy because it's super efficient. Yep. But that might not always be the best. That might not always be the best option. A lower efficient curveball may be a better pitch based on how your fastball plays. So that's going to be, it's just like the give and take of the process in itself. But like there are things that have to happen before we can get to the tunneling process.
Gotcha. Cool. What is your pitch arsenal, and what is something that you're working on heading into this season?
So we got fastball that's going to be mid to high 90s. Cutter that's going to be low to mid 90s. Curveball low to mid 80s. Changeup that's right around that mid 80s range, and then we're also working on a little bit of a sinker too that I think is going to play in that mid 90s range as well. So I got 5. But the biggest thing to work on is going to be the execution of all 5, and adapting if one doesn't happen to be there on any given day. How do we still compete if one part's missing?
Gotcha.
How do you think, like your story, how do you think losing weight, gaining strength, focusing on your mobility has helped you become kind of the pitcher you are today?
I think losing weight as a whole just kind of made me a much better athlete. And it made it easier for me to work on, like you said, like working on mobility. I think when I went down to Eric Cressy's for the first time, they told me that they hadn't seen a pro guy as just tight as me. Like I was just tight all the way around. So gaining that mobility, one, and then kind of being an athlete enough to where I could work on the strength at the end ranges of mobility, that made like that helped probably the most in the entire process.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Do you see yourself right now as more of a starter or a reliever, like at this point in your career?
I see both having interesting challenges. I think they both have pros and cons. But for me, like I really want to go where the Cubs see me fitting best to help the organization down the road. I could sit here and tell you that my personality type would help me as a starter, just because I'm a very routine based person. But I could also sit here and tell you that I really like to just go in for an inning and just blow it up. So both there's give and take with that.
Okay. What's one major leaguer right now that you would love to face?
I grew up watching the Detroit Tigers, so I will answer Miguel Cabrera. I think that would be an unbelievable. That would be a really fun at bat for me, just because I saw so many good Tigers teams, and he was at the core of all of them.
What's your first pitch versus him?
My first pitch versus him?
Are you bringing the gas, or are you gonna throw off speed?
I can't tell him. He knows, man. He's out there. He's out there listening right now. I can't tell him.
Good call. Good call.
Good call.
Well played.
That was good.
I see that you keep receipts. One on your Twitter.
Yep.
That I can't remember the guy, but he put out a prospect list this year of all the Cubs prospects, and you were left off of it.
Yep.
And you put the Jordan meme, which was perfect. I took that personally. Like, I was like, money. Like, how does that stuff motivate you going forward?
That stuff's pretty like all in jest for me. Like, obviously, I hate seeing that my name's not on that list, but I had talked to Brian about that several times. He actually just ran that Bleacher Nation article on me.
Yeah,
so I talked to Brian about that a few times. He has no reason to put me on there. You know, I haven't logged an out in professional baseball yet. So for him to sit there and say, I wonder where he fits, I don't fit anywhere because I haven't logged any outs yet. So for me, what motivates me is having the opportunity daily to go control what I can to the best of my abilities and know that I do it better than a lot of people.
Yep.
What are some goals for the season? Where do you see yourself?
You know, I really want to. I don't know that I've ever really had a great in-season training routine, and that's probably scary when I say that out loud. But I've also never been I've never had the knowledge that I do now in season. So my goals for the season are to find a in-season training routine that's going to best work with my training economy, so that I'm as fresh as I can possibly be on the mound every single time. I've talked about this in a couple interviews as well, where it's always kind of had this negative connotation when you go to, when we have athletes that go to the trainer's room every day. Most people assume that if you're in the trainer's room every day, you're hurt. And I really believe that that's far from the case. Talking to the big league guys that train at X2, talking to some of the guys out at Driveline, the trainer's room is a place to be proactive in your health and not reactive. So my goals for that would be another goal is growing accustomed to that and truly believing that the trainer's room is a proactive resource and not a reactive.
Gotcha.
Where do you think you're going to end up in the Cubs farm system?
I love this question, but I hate this question because I don't want to put any predictions out there. It's going to be extremely role dependent. I'll say that much. For me to have really any expectation of where I'm going, I feel like is unfair to myself and really to anybody else. So I don't know that I really want to put any sort of prediction out there.
Okay. Well, we would love to see you with the Iowa Cubs because we're from Ames and that's like really close to Des Moines. So if you come to Des Moines, we'll be cheering for you.
We'll be there.
If you guys can get me to AAA in my first minor league season, you guys will have tickets waiting for you every single time.
You do know the assistant general manager, so maybe I can put in your name.
Pull some strings, man. Pull some strings.
Drop some hints.
Who would you say is like your professional baseball like comp player? Like, who are you most like?
I don't know that I like to take a full body of work from somebody else. So it's little things. So for me, oh my gosh, the guy's name is escaping me right now. He's a reliever, Staumont, Josh Staumont on the Royals. Okay. I think my lower half looks a lot like his when he throws. But I also like to take, if we're looking at like how the arm moves, I think that I take a lot from. I started with Shane Bieber when I came home from camp. When I started reshaping my arm action, I tried to use Shane Bieber as a model. So I don't know that I like to take a full body of work from somebody, but I do like to take bits and pieces from around the catalog that we have today.
That makes sense. I'm going to jump in real quick. I thought of one while you were talking. So you're out there on the mound and a pitch isn't working. What's going through your head?
One, I'm going to throw it again. If it's not working, I'm going to throw it again, because if people see that it's not working, chances are the hitters cross it off. And I still believe in my stuff enough to know that I can throw everything for strikes when I need to. So I'm going to throw it again, and then, I'm just going to compete, man. I'm going to compete my butt off, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to go to stuff that I know is working, and to go from there, man. But bottom line, I got to compete.
I think that's a good message for kind of youngsters to hear, because they're going to get up there and they're going to overthink it, and to just think, no, you have to throw it again because you need that pitch back. And like you said, batter's going to check it off. Yep. You want to surprise them. Yeah, cool. Absolutely. And
and when you look at like minor league baseball as a whole, it's a development. It's a development season, right? It's a place to work on that stuff. So yeah, if I throw a changeup 57 feet, then I'm gonna go back and say, maybe I'm just pushing this a little bit. That one came in at 82. I'm going to throw this one a little bit harder, and let's see what happens. I'm going to throw this 87, and we're going to see what we get.
Yeah. Well, your story is really, it's a cool story, and it's great.
Thank you, Mitch.
Like I love hearing those type of things. Like playing D2, you hear everybody like, oh, I'm going to go to the league. I'm going to go to the show. And a lot of them, it's not realistic. And for some of them, they might, if they just take a chance on themselves. And that's what you did. And you kept pursuing. And then you identified things that you could control, and you attack those things. And that's what was huge. So my question is, like, if there's guys out there on the fence to pursue the major league dream, what would you tell them? Like, being that you made yourself, you reinvented yourself. Yeah. You did the things that you needed to do to get there.
I would say 3 things. 1, be honest with yourself. 2, control what you can to the best of your ability. And 3, find things that are quantifiable to market yourself. Because the platforms that are going to be most effective in marketing yourself are free. And that's Twitter, Instagram, sometimes even Facebook. So if you can find metrics that are black and white, that's probably your best chance at getting yourself marketed. I could have sat there and said, you know what, I'm going to be 88, 90 and I'll top 92, but I'm going to throw a ton of strikes. Nobody cares, man. It's just not how you break your way into minor league baseball right now. I think for a very small population, it may be, but it's almost to the point where I would consider that an anomaly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any more questions. Do you, Kevin?
I'll throw one in. It's just when I was thinking, what is a question that nobody ever asks you, but you always want to answer?
Ooh.
We're in the Twilight Zone.
I don't know. I was just thinking about it.
I have no idea. I have nothing off the top of my head.
Okay.
You've probably been asked everything under the sun, right?
How many pounds do you lose? 70.
There you go.
Yes. That's awesome.
How long did it take you to lose 70 pounds?
So I really started probably right after right after the draft in 2019. And it was a longer process than I kind of envisioned when I started this, but it took discipline in certain timeframes. So I went from 300 to 270. I signed at 270. Came home from 2020 camp at 270. And then I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being the big guy. I just want to be the best athlete I can be. And in the following 2.5, 3 months, I lost another 35. Nice. So yeah. Had I just crushed it from the beginning, it probably could have taken a little bit less time, but I think it worked out.
So funny thing is, like, so all of us are CrossFitters. I'm a CrossFit coach.
The amateurs.
But like Jeff has lost a ton of weight in the last year or so. So it's having realistic goals, and it's knowing what you can control, and you can control what you eat. You can control the things that you do outside the gym to help you be successful. You can control those things. So that's awesome that you took that step in your career.
it was as simple as tracking the food, right? Like if I have an app on my phone if I'm being honest about the food that I'm eating, and I got an app on my phone that's telling me, hey, you know what? You ate 4,900 calories a day. I'm going to go back and figure out where I messed up, because I just can't take that in and expect to lose weight. So it's a very, very, very easy. It's a very black and white thing if you're honest with it.
Jeff, how much weight did you lose?
In 2017, when I started the job that I'm at now, I weighed 362 pounds.
Whoa,
and
let's go.
I currently weigh 260 right now.
Let's go, Jeff. Congrats.
Right. And I tell you what, I was literally getting ready to pay somebody to follow me around and knock donuts out of my hand. But I was fortunate. Like, the best thing I ever did for myself was to walk into that CrossFit gym. And the hardest thing was I went back a second time. I mean, because it's hard. And then, I just surrounded myself with, quality people that, were supportive and encouraging, which made it very easy to go back. And then I got hooked up with one of the former owner's wives, who was big into macro tracking, and she kind of helped me get set up on a nutrition plan and some numbers. And once I did that, it really started to come off, a lot easier for me. But that's
awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, you starting at 300 and losing 70, you probably look like a completely different person.
It's funny you say that. I had one of my college teammates text me a picture from 3 years ago, like yesterday or 2 days ago, and it was just like it wasn't even the same person. It's crazy.
Yeah. But no, congratulations to you.
And not only are you doing this for your career, you're also probably a lot healthy just in general. Like, you're just a healthier person. And so those are things that we can't forget. Like, I know you're doing it for baseball, but you're also just becoming a healthy person in general.
Yeah, significantly more healthy. I was a big pop drinker too, and that was one of the things I had to cut out. Like, at the start, was just I could drink it disgusting amounts, and haven't touched it now in probably over 2.5 years.
Sweet.
Nice.
Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you for
joining us on. If you want to plug, go for it. Plug your social medias. I know you have a YouTube channel that you just started. Got great content on there, so plug away.
Well, first off, thank you for saying the content's great. YouTube channel is under my full name, Maxwell Bain, Columbia blue and red MB logo. Twitter is mbain_38, and Instagram is maxbain38.
So yeah, go give him a follow and subscribe. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate all the information you provided, and good luck on the season.
Yes. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah. Yep. Thank you for having me. It was very fun. Very fun time. Appreciate it.
All right.
Best of luck, Max.
Good luck.
Talk to you guys soon.
All right, well, that was awesome. Max provided great information, and yeah, we're excited to kind of follow him and his track through the Cubs minor league system. I'm excited to see where he ends up by the end of the year.
What a confident young person, very grounded. I mean, wow. I hope
Max to Iowa. Max to Iowa.
Yeah, let's get him with the Iowa Cubs. That would be awesome. Remember, you can find all of our podcasts on ChiCitySports.com. If you want the latest information in all Chicago sports teams, whether that's the Bulls, the Bears, the Blackhawks, the White Sox, or the Cubs, this is your place. You can still find all of our podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. So yeah, go and check out ChiCitySports.com. Jeffrey, is there a new special thing that we have for our listeners?
We do. It's a gift. So, all right, folks, we've gotten promoted to the big leagues by being part of the Chi City Sports community. Today, we are sponsored by Manscaped. So, if you are listening with your youngsters and don't want to explain their nether regions to them right now, please take a moment and pre-screen the next minute or so.
We've got an exclusive offer for our fans from Manscaped. If you'd like to save 20% and get free shipping, then use the code DINGERS, DINGERS, at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence, and you'll always have the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
So you're probably wondering what Manscaped is. And my question to you is, are you hairy? Because if you're like Kevin, you are very hairy. I've seen him upside down doing handstand push-ups. His back is very hairy. How hairy is he, Jeffrey?
He ain't got nothing on Sasquatch, man. Kevin's wearing a cardigan year round.
Year round.
So if you're like me, then you need Manscaped and the Lawnmower 3.0. I've used other fancy trimmers in the past, and they always get clogged. Got to adjust the guards constantly. You know, they'll slip down while you're in the middle of trimming. Takes way too long. I used the trimmer 3.0 with the guard on yesterday. It took about a minute, probably less than a minute. Super powerful, which seems kind of weird to say when you're talking about a trimmer, but it works, and it works well. I just set the guard and went to town. It's quick and painless, no nicks or clogs with the pruning machine.
So don't get DFA'd by your lady. Keep it nice and clean and shaven down there so you can get the extension that all the Cubs players are hoping for.
So speaking of, let Manscaped hook you up with their Perfect Package 3.0 kit. The package includes the Lawnmower 3.0 that Jeff was just holding up. It's not a lawnmower that cuts the beautiful grass at the friendly confines. This is a hair trimmer that comes with an LED light for a more precise shave and is waterproof for those tight-to-groom areas. With that LED light, you can be sure that your cutting lines are straight and even. Also comes with the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. If you haven't thought about ball deodorant before, then you probably haven't taken a round around the bases after hitting a dinger. Got the Crop Reviver, a refreshing ball toner with active pH control for those 2-strike counts. Also, the Shed, a travel bag to store all your grooming goodies, just like the shed at Wrigley that keeps that hot dog cannon safe and sound from those D-gens from upcountry. Also, do you guys remember when Jake Arrieta did that pose for ESPN Body?
Yeah, he looked good.
He did look good. If you want to look good too, you'll get a pair of high-performance Manscaped boxer briefs that come with this package as well.
I wore mine yesterday, and they got like a kangaroo pouch for your boys. That's like perfect. I'm not kidding. It's like having a jock strap built into a pair of boxer briefs. It's perfect.
If you'd like to save 20%, use the code DINGERS at manscaped.com. Unlock the confidence that you've always used the right tools for the job with Manscaped. So, yeah, jump on manscaped.com and use 20% with the Dingers. So let's get the rest of the episode. We have some questions from our listeners. The first one is, who should be the next PA announcer for the Chicago Cubs? If you didn't hear, the PA announcer wanted to pursue a job in broadcasting, so he's stepping away. And I think I have the right guy to take over for our PA announcer.
Well, we're going to give you the full experience because we have some time before the game. There's some changing problems with the umpire. So the first thing you have to know is how to do the lineups. And we're going to have you give the folks the opening lineups for today.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Hello, everybody. Starting for the Expos in left field, Casey Candell. He's no good. In right field is Mitch Webster. He's no good. At first is Andre. How would you folks at home say that name? Andre Galarraga. Tim Wallach's at third. Jeff Reed is catching. Vance Law is overrated. He's at second base. Tom Foley shouldn't even be playing. He's at shortstop. Herman Winningham. What, you're going to be afraid of a guy named Herman Winningham? We'll just throw it right down the plate when he's up. And Floyd Mans will be pitching. That's the easy part. They're no good. Shouldn't be a problem. And then for the Cubs, the almighty Chico Walker in left field. Come on, let's hear it for him. Come on, everybody up. Chico Walker, come on. Ryan Sandberg, come on, let's hear it for him. Andre Dawson, come on, I know he was an Expo, but he's okay now. Come on. Keith Moreland's going to play. Come on, yeah, everybody. Zonko. Leon the Bull Durham at first base. Jody Davis, yeah, he'll be catching. Dave Martinez is in center. Sean Dunston is playing short. And Rick Sutcliffe, the tall guy with a beard, will be pitching.
Now, after doing the lineup.
Man, I mean, he's not in movies anymore. Maybe he's open for this role. I would love it. So that question was from Justin from Cedar Rapids. Do you think would you go with Bill Murray?
Oh yeah, with that kind of lineup distribution, just the way he was crisp with each name, and he knew exactly what they were going to do in the game. Pretty much nothing, which was awesome.
It's going to be me.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
The last time they did a PA announcer for a job, they opened it up where people could audition for this job. That's how the guy that is leaving got his job. So Jeffrey, maybe if they do auditions, we can.
You guys are going to hear me on opening day. It's my tryout.
Hey, Jeffrey, give us lineup Daniel Descalso. You got to say his name that he's coming into the game. The
Cubs just signed him, and he's going to start opening day. Yeah. Go.
So playing second base today for the Cubs is Daniel Fried Chicken Descalso. Looks like he's put on a few pounds in the off season, and hopefully they taped up his ankle so he doesn't twist one round on the bases if he manages to get on base.
Perfect. You're hired.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Vote Jeff.
All right. Next question is from Steven from Des Moines. He says, who will be the odd men out in the Cubs bullpen? And who do you think the guarantees are? So this one's pretty tough right now because the last couple of days our bullpen, I mean, it's kind of been up and down. I'd say Andrew Chafin is a for sure. You got to have the stash in there.
Porn stash.
Dan Winkler, probably. Brandon Workman. I don't know if you saw him on
Blue
Sunday.
collar.
Dude has a filthy curveball. The one that I'm concerned about, and I don't know, like Kimbrel, this spring training has been just bad for him. I mean, he's picked up where he started last year. And the question I'll ask is, do you think, and Ross has even acknowledged it the other day that he was asked, he's like, he does not have it. His arm slot's off. Do you think they will have the Manscaped balls to put him at the alternative site and let him figure some stuff out? Or do you think he's going to start on opening day?
No, I think if he doesn't improve, so there's roughly 2 weeks of spring training left, and then we have regular season baseball. I think if he ain't got it figured out, I don't think they'll bring him to Chicago. Yeah. I mean, that's like dumping gas on a fire.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of see it for some reason. I see him making it with the big club and getting thrown in right away, first game, just to see, is it competition level? Does that bring him up? And if that doesn't go well, then I see him out to the alternate site right away.
Kevin, what if we're only ahead by a run in the first game of the season and we want to win opening day?
He's averaging giving up 3.
Right? No,
an appearance in this.
I mean, the play-by-play is going to sound a lot like Harry Doyle when Brick Vaughn's around. Ball 12, ball 16.
Yep.
Well, these guys are laying off around a lot of really good pitches. I don't know. But the thing is, he didn't have it last year, but he figured it out. So he can be fixed.
Yep.
It's just how do you fix it? Like how do you get him out of his own head?
And how do you fix it fast? We only have 2.
Right.
Right. There's
real games coming up. We need you fix.
Like we want a spicy chicken wing. We don't want a blah ranch covered chicken wing.
Other guys, I'm like Ryan Tepera. He's kind of just getting back into the swing of things. I expect him to probably make the opening day roster. And then you got a whole bunch of young guns. Like I'm going to throw a couple names out that I think should make the roster. I don't know if they will. Jason Adams. The dude is just filthy. He pitched on Sunday, struck out the side, and he has one of the best changes. I know I've talked about this.
Threw himself off the mound.
He has a nasty changeup, and I mean he has some good stuff. I'm really excited to see him, and I think he's going to kind of make or break this bullpen on his development this year. So hopefully we see him. Another guy, maybe, I mean, we talked about Dylan Maples, Rex Brothers. Them guys are like basically the same guy. One pitches right hand, one pitches left hand. They have nasty stuff, but can they control it? And can they control it with consistency? And then if you've seen Trevor McGill, he's come in and thrown gas, like 98. He's going to be one. I don't think like James Norwood is going to make it. I know Kyle Ryan, he was on COVID protocol, so I think he's kind of getting late to the game. He probably won't. Brad Wick, he's another one that probably won't start the season with a big club. So, jeepers. Jeffrey, get it.
Go after it, buddy.
Here is a question from Eric on Facebook.
Hello, Eric.
Will the Cubs carry 3 catchers for opening
No.
day?
They can't afford to.
I don't think so. I think there was that conversation. I can't remember if it was from Ross or was people speculating that they're going to carry an extra bullpen arm, and they're not going to have the space for a third catcher. I think they're only going to go with 2.
Like our bullpen isn't shaped up like it was in 2016 when we carried 3 catchers. Our pitching staff isn't what it was in 2016 when we carried 3.
My only concern is, so Austin Romine is kind of injured right now, and so PJ Higgins has gotten a lot of bats, which I'm okay with Higgins being the backup for the time being. He has a pretty good stick. He has some power. It's just I don't know how well he is at calling a game, where I think Austin Romine is pretty good at calling a game, and he knows he's a professional big league catcher. So
Are you taking notes, Kevin?
Just writing down some fan questions that are coming in for you, Jeffy.
If the Cubs,
Are you shitting me?
No, we got
Somebody
more.
wants my opinion.
Yep.
All right,
If Kimbrel is struggling going into the season or right at the beginning of the season, who's going to take over as closer? This question's from Jake.
Workman
Yeah.
or Tapera.
I think they won't go with a single closer. I think it'll depend on the situation, and they'll roll out Adam, Maples, Workman, Tapera. I think it'll end up being a closer by committee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Rowan Wick, if he's healthy, he could fill in that job very easily.
It's true.
So you know that
Pedro
Jeffress is available, right?
Yeah, he hasn't signed yet, has he?
Questionable release from the Nationals, whatever. We'll take it.
Yep.
I like it.
I'll take him back. He was lights out last year. All right, here's a pretty tough one. This comes from Sean on Twitter. If you were Jed Hoyer and could extend 2 guys, who would you choose? Only 2.
Gosh, there's no right answer. Just throwing that out there. Right?
Honestly, I'm going to extend Anthony Rizzo for one. He's our captain, and I think he's the voice of the team. And then I'm going to flip a coin between our third baseman and our shortstop. And I say this not that I don't like either one of them. We're probably not going to keep all 3 of those guys. But our depth at shortstop might be that swing vote decision on who gets an extension.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to go Javi if I have to go with someone. If I have to make that bad decision for who's the second one, I want to go with Javi. Just he's so much fun to watch. And
well, at least you didn't say Jason Hayward.
Got a few more years.
Yeah. My guy, I wish it was 3. I wish the question was who get 3. Because I agree with you, Jeff. Like, Anthony Rizzo is the captain. He's our leader. And I think he needs to be signed. And it's really tough to find a replacement first baseman.
Especially a left-handed one?
Yep. And our farm system does not have any good first basemen in our farm system. So I think because of that, we need to extend Rizzo. The other two guys I would extend would be Javi for like 4 years to kind of be that transition before Ed Howard and all these other youngsters come up. And my other guy would be Ian Happ. I think Ian Happ is a guy to build around, and let's get him a contract now so we have him for the transition of all these young guys getting in, and he can be the veteran guy that is that transition. I think
you took that question. You cheated. You picked 3.
I did. I cheated. All right. This is
a quick. Hang on. A question from the fans out there. They're asking where Jeff is from.
I think that's because he had a Yingling beer again. And
I'm not from Philadelphia. I don't drink water. I drink water.
All right. So, who's your pick to win the NCAA tournament? Nate on Twitter asks.
Like overall.
Yeah.
Not like one side of the bracket. Sup, Eric?
Nope. Overall.
Probably Gonzaga. Possibly Illinois.
Illinois?
Yeah. I haven't seen the bracket. I honestly have not looked at the bracket. And I'm kind of curious if it could be like 3 Big Ten teams make it. You know, like Ohio State, Illinois, Michigan. I don't know. But probably Gonzaga. They've been number 1 all year.
You're forgetting a team in there.
Iowa. I know.
There you go.
I mean, I was 13 months old the last time they make it to the Final Four. So, I mean, but here's the deal. I can't watch any of their games. If I watch an Iowa game, they lose in basketball. So I'm not going to be able to watch one Iowa tournament game.
Well, you know, you come up with these weird things. Like you got to make your lasagna when the Cubs are playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can't watch the Iowa game.
Yeah.
I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
Just a little stitious.
I'm just somewhat stitious. Oh, also, if I don't see first pitch of a Cubs game, I can't watch it.
Huh. That's interesting. That would never work for me because I just never can make.
Yeah. Like you don't have kids.
Yeah, you don't have exactly.
No, you do it. I'm living the dream.
Is that yourself? Yeah, Mitch, who would you pick?
I mean, my heart says the Iowa Hawkeyes. I want to see Iowa do well. They played well in the Big Ten tournament. Illinois is really tough. I would pick, my bracket, I have a lot of Big Ten teams. Illinois is in the Final Four. Gonzaga and Iowa, that's going to be a great matchup, hopefully, in the Elite Eight. Michigan is tough. They got good. I think the Big Ten is going to do really, really well because Big Ten was so tough.
If that matchup is there, I really hope that Iowa avenges that early season loss to Gonzaga when they played at a neutral site. That game, they didn't play worth a shit. I mean, I did watch that game, and it was a loss. So they look terrible on the floor, and there's times like that where they look like they could beat any NBA team on the floor, and then there's games where it's like they couldn't beat a high school team where the manager's playing because the starting player couldn't pass a test. You know what I mean? There's just too much of that.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do the Shy City Sports Bracket Challenge, you can go to their Twitter, Shy City Sports 23. They have a bracket challenge up. They just tweeted out. You can join the bracket challenge. I have Iowa winning it against Illinois because I know there's going to be a ton of Illinois people in this bracket challenge choosing Illinois, and just to spite them, I hope they get beat by Loyola in the first round, and they're going to have to cheer for Loyola as their Illinois team. I said it.
Yikes.
Come at me.
Yeah, I picked Illinois.
You don't want to say that.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks, though. I hope they make it past Gonzaga. I think that's going to be the game. Hawks and Gonzaga.
You guys will have to tweet me how it's going because I'm not even going to pay attention.
There we go.
Juju.
Well, that does it for episode 23. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Dinger Cubs. Join our Facebook group. Just search us, Dingers, Chicago Cubs fan podcast, and subscribe to the Shy City Sports YouTube channel. If you want to watch any of our podcasts live, that's going to be the place where they stream it, as well as on Facebook. So subscribe to their YouTube. But thanks for joining us this week on the Dingers podcast.
I'd just like to add, I'd like to thank Max for coming on to the show.
Yeah, Max was great.
That was awesome.
Provided just a ton of insight for somebody that's trying to make their dream come true, and the work that is going into it. He's got such a great attitude, great personality. I really hope that we get to see him on the mound for the Cubs.
Max to Iowa.
Yep. All right. Later.
Peace out.